Welcome to Peculiar Tales, the show where we dive into the stranger things in history, urban legends, ghost stories, and anything else we find, well, peculiar. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Christy. In today's tale, we head to a quiet corner of Ontario, Canada, to uncover a tale that drips with dread, curses, and a relentless haunting. It's one of Canada's oldest and most chilling legends, the Baldoon Mystery. Now, this story has everything: a family tormented by poltergeist, spontaneous fires, livestock behaving like something out of a nightmare, and a curse so potent it took a silver bullet to stop it, or so the legend says. So let's rewind the clock to the early 1800s. The Baldoon settlement was a Scottish community nestled near present-day Wallaceburg, Ontario. Settlers came here with hopes of a fresh start, a new land, but what they found instead was something that would haunt generations. Our story revolves around the McDonald family, who moved into a humble farmhouse in Baldoon. It didn't take long before things started going very wrong.
Now imagine you're sitting in your living room, and out of nowhere, rocks begin pelting your windows. You rush outside, and there's no one. No footsteps. Nothing. Just silence. And that was just the beginning for the McDonalds. They recorded more than 26 separate incidents of rocks striking their home without any visible source. Even witnesses from nearby farms confirmed seeing stones rain down on the house, despite it standing in open fields where there couldn't be any attacker to hide. Now listen to this. A story from Mary McDonald to her cousin, dated July 3rd, 1829. Dearest Anne, the rocks fall even when the sky is still. Last night, Father counted 14 in the parlor. One struck my brother James across the temple. He bleeds, but the wound bears no bruise. We are frightened beyond words.
And as if that was not scary or strange enough, then comes the fires. Spontaneous fires, flames bursting from walls, from furniture, and even from clothing. According to surviving family letters, over 30 small fires broke out across different rooms in the house, often with no apparent source. One child's bed even caught fire while they slept. And this wasn't just hearsay. Reverend Thomas Fraser, who kept a travel journal, wrote this after visiting the McDonald's home. Called to the McDonald's estate by urgent request. Observed spontaneous ignition of cloth in the kitchen with no source of heat. Utterly unexplainable. Children sob uncontrollably at night. I fear for their safety and their spiritual well-being.
And then there's the livestock. Oh God, the livestock. Chickens running in circles, bleeding from their eyes. Cows refusing to eat and collapsing. Horses bolting into the woods with wild rolling eyes like they'd seen something the human eye couldn't grasp. In one documented incident, a cow was found with its hooves frozen to the ground despite it being moderate weather. And even the neighbors weren't spared. Margaret Jameson, who lived just a few fields over, wrote this in her 1826 diary. Awoke to the sound of screeching, not of beast nor man. The fire returned as I left. It dances across the floorboards as if summoned. I saw the child's blanket spark without flame. The air was cold, but the walls sweated. This diary is still preserved today.
The McDonalds were desperate for answers. They brought in priests, ministers, and even an indigenous shaman. One Presbyterian minister reportedly witnessed a chair lift off the ground and crash into the wall while he was praying. After this, he simply left, never to return. And there are first-hand accounts in letters preserved by the Wallaceburg and District Museum. One visitor described hearing scratches on the walls, only to find small holes burned straight through the wood that were too precise for a rodent and too deep for a nail. Even the Justice of the Peace, William Hardy, gave a formal statement. During my inspection of the McDonald property, I beheld rocks fall from no visible hand, a silver mirror crack clear through without impact. The family is not mad. They are besieged by something unseen.
They were being tormented, and even though a malevolent force had dug its claws into their lives, they weren't ready to give up. A turning point came when an elderly woman in a nearby community, rumored to be the local witch, offered a chilling piece of advice. She told them the curse came from an old woman who could transform into a bird. Yes, a shapeshifter, a dark sorceress. The woman advised the McDonalds to look for a black goose with a broken wing. She said if they could wound the bird with a silver bullet, they would break the spell. And as bizarre as it sounds, the McDonalds took the advice seriously. Charles McDonald reportedly melted down a silver button from his coat to create the bullet. And they found the bird, a black goose with a drooping wing, waddling near the edge of the property. Charles fired, the bird was struck and flew off, trailing blood. And the very next day, an old woman in the village was found with a shattered arm. Coincidence? Well, the townsfolk didn't think so. They said she was the witch, the very one who cursed the McDonalds. Local papers picked up the story. The Chatham Chronicle in 1830 said this: reports from the Baldoon settlement continue to defy reason. The McDonald hauntings persist despite clerical intervention. Most unsettling is the tale of the wounded goose and the old widow with a matching shattered arm. Many now call it witchcraft.
So this wasn't just family legend. It made headlines, it made history, and after that shot, the strange phenomenon stopped. No more fires, no more phantom rocks, no more bleeding chickens, just silence, eerie but blessed silence. But by this time, the damage had been done, the community was forever changed, and the tale of the Baldoon Mystery became a chilling part of Canadian folklore. And of course, skeptics have tried to explain it all away. Some say the fires were caused by phosphorus or gas leaks. Others claim mass hysteria or hoaxes. But no one has definitively debunked the haunting. And the testimonies weren't just from the family. Neighbors, ministers, even local authorities documented the strange events. This wasn't just hearsay. It was a full-blown paranormal siege. And the Justice of the Peace that visited the home also recorded violent noises with no discernible origin. And when he noted the stones falling from nowhere, he stated that he had never witnessed such disturbances under God's sky.
There's even an interview that took place in 1906 with Donald McDonald III, in which he shared his haunting recollection. We never rebuilt on that land. My grandfather told me the floors would sweat blood and stones would rise from the earth. One night, his father awoke to find the cradle rocking by itself, a shadow cast on the wall, but with no one in the room. He also said that not only had his family abandoned the home, but that it was also avoided by locals for decades. No one would touch the land. The evil may be gone, but the stain remains. And with local historians having found newspaper clippings, letters, and even diary entries describing the chaos and mentioning things like neighbors seeing shadowy figures lurking in the fields at night. One diary even mentions waking to find small handprints scorched into their window glass. And another letter from a traveling merchant describes his short stay at the McDonald home. I left before dawn. A stone passed through the door while it was closed. I cannot return. This letter was dated 1829, and it was archived by the Chatham Historical Society. It's hard to deny that something strange had definitely taken place at this humble farmhouse.
What makes this story so compelling is that it's not just a tale passed down around a campfire. It's in the records, it has weight, and yet it still has all those elements of a supernatural thriller. So let's talk theories. Was it witchcraft? Was it environmental? A case of psychological contagions? Or did the McDonalds stumble onto some ancient indigenous burial ground or spiritual boundary they weren't meant to cross? Because there is one local legend that claims the land once had been cursed by a shaman after a brutal betrayal by settlers. While we have to take this with a grain of salt, it does add another layer to this mystery.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah, and what I also found out that I thought was really neat is because this was such a big case then, people would come from all over the place to experience the hauntings there. But what started out as kind of playful, like things moving, nobody was really getting hurt from it, started to ramp up from all these people coming and like giving into the energy almost. So that's when it started getting really bad and people started getting hurt and fires were starting and all kinds of stuff like that.
That is very interesting because it's a thing, right? When people are, their places are haunted or things like that, it's the energies do amplify
Well, and
things.
they say like if you are dealing with hauntings or whatever, you don't want to give it attention. You want to almost ignore it.
Yeah.
But they also had not just rocks but bullets flying
Bullets.
into their homes.
Bullets.
Yeah, bullets were flying into their homes, but they were going through the windows with such force that it made like the circle hole where it came through, but as soon as it would enter the home, it would just drop to the floor. It got so bad at one point that they literally had to board up all of their windows because their windows were just shattered from rocks and bullets.
So let me understand this correctly. Because I was having a hard time with, rocks coming down from the clouds, So, and it's not that I'm a skeptic,
No.
I follow paranormal things,
Hmm.
but bullets, you say?
Yeah, yeah. And apparently they even would collect the rocks and the bullets and mark them and then go throw them in the pond or creek that was nearby. And they would end up getting those ones again, hitting the house. They would find ones that they had previously marked,
How disturbing would that be?
right?
But then there is room. Now, again, I'm not a skeptic, but there is room for skeptics here
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
to have an argument because anybody can throw things. But when you've got people and people saying, no, I saw it come out of the sky and
Mm-hmm.
nothing threw it, it just appeared,
Yeah.
you know
And not even just directly from the sky, like it was breaking through their windows as if somebody had whipped it through the window, but their farmhouse was in the middle of like an open field. So when they'd go to look, there was nobody there.
So unless there's a catapult
You're
hidden
right.
somewhere in this
Unless,
town.
exactly.
Wow. And
Yeah.
then the bullets though, because okay, so I'm really intrigued with that
Mm-hmm.
because um when somebody shoots a gun and the bullet goes, it just doesn't like as soon as it
No.
goes into like until something stops it. So the fact that it would just fall midair to the floor after it goes through the window, wall, whatever,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
And there's tons of reported interactions with the paranormal there. People who were going because it was so popular and they wanted to see it. Some people wanted to get these rocks that had been thrown and all this other stuff. They had things like a soap dish went flying off and hit a kid in the back. Glasses of water would levitate and then just dump onto the ground. They were
Somebody
having
was
full
upset.
blown paranormal activity on like the highest level in this house and in this area, because it wasn't even just the house. When the family moved and was staying with other people for a while, things would happen there as well.
So the people may have been haunted.
But what was crazier was at the same time that the family was being displaced from their home and staying with other people while people were investigating their home to try to figure out what was going on, they were having poltergeist activity in both spots.
At the same time.
So it wasn't just the poltergeist went with them and was attached to them, because things were still happening at the house while they were not there.
That's a powerful
Right?
entity. That's like a powerful something or
Or
other,
multiple entities.
because like, okay, let's take anything that's been possessed, any kind of, or not possessed, I should correct myself there, any kind of inanimate object that has something attached to it. You're not possessed, but attached to it. And those things, like you hear about the little boy doll.
Yeah. Robert.
Now, it's been said that people will insult the little guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then terrible things, if not death, happens to these people
Right.
when they leave. So what if, going along that train of thought, that whatever was there was so powerful
Mm-hmm.
that it didn't matter where you went, it would just send horrible things to happen to you from where it was.
Right. And that's the thing, like, what I find really interesting is the fact that they stated too that at the beginning it was kind of intriguing and like almost playful in a way, is how they would describe it,
Mhm.
and how it instantly ramped up to something that literally struck fear in everybody who was around it. So, what went from playful to, I don't know if you'd call it demonic or.
Well, how many horror movies or how many documentaries or how many things that you've seen in TV, and it's haunted by more than one thing.
Right.
So there might be children there playing, but then you've got this really upset thing,
Right.
so mad, and then the playful energy scared away. The little one's scared away, or the happy spirit is gone, because you've got this like ominous, heavy energy that just means harm.
Right.
Maybe there was a few.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but without anybody really.
But that's the thing with this story, right? Nobody's been able to debunk it. And obviously, stuff like this is extremely hard to prove 100%. There's always going to be a skeptic.
It would be so interesting. If somebody could go on the land and just pick things up off the land,
Right.
like the energies, and if somebody could do that, that would be interesting.
And then the fact that the lady was just like, make a silver bullet, shoot a black goose. It'll.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to her for a hot minute here, because as a person, okay, you're seeing your neighbors go through some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is like crazy things happening. And you're just sitting back with your cup of tea going, I'm just going to wait.
I'll just wait.
It's not bad enough yet to give them the answer. We'll see.
Or
We'll see
until
what
they
they
come
do.
to me. Like, I'm not going to them with the information.
People fleeing from this property.
Yeah.
Fleeing. You have people swearing, I'm not going back.
Right.
There are people that are looking up to the skies going, I've never seen God do this. And yet she still sits back and she's like, yeah,
Yeah, this went on for like 3 years or something like that, I think they said.
sweet mercy.
At one point.
So either she got bored of it. Like, okay, listen, you're never going to figure this shit out, are you? So I'm going to tell you. But, I know it's been 3 years.
If you just do this, guess what? Poof, over.
Really? Like, I don't know that I'd be able to compose myself. Like, I know that the McDonald's ran with the information.
Yeah.
He's like burning down his button, and
Well, I mean, at
but
that point,
I
you'd be
feel like
willing to
I'd
try
still be
anything.
like, I want to have a conversation with you about why it took so long. Like, when did you first obtain this information, ma'am?
Right? How
Right?
long have
Like,
you known that this is all we had to do? Like,
would have done this 3 years ago. coat doesn't mean all that much, really.
Right,
You know,
right.
you're not very neighborly here.
It is really weird that it said that the woman too was found with the same arm shattered. Like,
Now, let's
weird
take, okay,
coincidence or
if she wasn't a shapeshifter and she wasn't this damn bird that got shot, what kind of bad damn luck do you have in
right?
the 1800s where people have watched this shit go down for 3 years? Finally, the town's proclaimed witch says, okay, just do this. Okay, just go, do it. He goes and he does it, right? He's running, he's going. But then you have this other woman. She's like, listen, I am not the bird.
Meanwhile,
Because if
she
I could
pushed her off
shapeshift,
her front porch that night or something.
I don't even know. I don't even understand. But that is some bad luck. Like at that point, you'd be saying sorry to all the people. You'd be praying. You'd be like, listen, I can't go out like this. I can't have this kind of bad luck.
It is a really crazy story, and what I do find super fascinating about it though is just how documented it is. It wasn't just people local in that area, like I was said in the story, a campfire story, right? This was big. This was in newspapers. People were traveling to go and see this poltergeist activity happen in action.
I don't know that I'd want to be a part of live action poltergeistness. You know,
No,
I
I'll
don't
stay
know how
back.
I feel like it's like, ghost walks and ghost hunts,
Yeah,
intriguing. Um, but to go somewhere where you damn well know and you feel
yeah.
through all of you that you're like, you know what? Yeah, this is it. I don't know.
Yeah, like actually seeing stuff just flying around out of nowhere, fires just starting spontaneously, like, poof, there you go, fire, poof, there you go, fire. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, pray to your maker.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, today, the Baldoon settlement is just a whisper in the wind, a historical footnote. But if you go walking through the woods near Wallaceburg on a cold October night, who knows what you might stumble upon. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to join us on our social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. And until the peculiar calls again for another tale, bye for now.